First at 4, we're under a severe weather alert. We've already seen trees topple, and there's more to come, especially overnight. Ben.
Karen, it's that late potential for severe weather that has us especially concerned. It's a slight risk for all of southern Michigan. We'll talk more about the timing coming up. Hank?
And Ben, it's a humid day, not a day you want to be without AC. Unfortunately, it's been a reality for seniors living here for almost 2 months. We're investigating live at 4 o'clock. Karen?
And one woman's trip to the gas station turns into a terrifying situation. Her story coming up first at 4. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, we are seeing the first damage from those overnight storms and a full day of rain in Metro Detroit. Take a look at these toppled trees. This is just one situation. Residents on Detroit's west side say they lost power and heard a loud noise as a storm rolled through. When they looked outside, they saw the branches everywhere and a tree trunk split into two. One tree smashed on top of a car. Right now, 22,000 DTE customers are without power, with Wayne and Oakland counties the hardest hit right now. Let's get to Ben Bailey for the very latest on what we can expect in the coming hours. Ben.
Yeah, Karen, we're really focused on those hours after sunset going into the overnight, and that's really what most of this severe risk encompasses. It's for a good chunk of the area, the yellow shade there, that's the slight risk. And especially down here, the further south you get, those chances just a little bit better. Nevertheless, there's not a whole lot out there on 4 Live radar right now. We had some of those thunderstorms move through earlier today, and even the stuff that's out in the southwest portion of the state has really started to dissipate and is starting to move a little bit more southeast. So we could go for several hours here with nothing, but don't let your guard down because, again, really it's going to be late tonight when we're really focused on the potential for severe weather. There's still a flood watch up. We still have some pretty saturated ground in areas, so it's not going to take a lot to cause some flooding, especially with highway underpasses and flood-prone areas. And with that saturated ground, it's also not going to take a lot of wind to knock over trees in some areas too. So the timing late evening to daybreak is when we're watching for the potential of the worst storms, and the threats are still all of them. Anything from damaging winds, large hail, and still a possibility of an isolated tornado. We can't rule that out. Right now the location is area wide. We'll talk a little bit more specific about some areas that may be a little bit more prone to see those thunderstorms tonight, all coming up in a few minutes, Karen.
All right, Ben, and you can get weather alerts and check live radar around the clock with our free Local Forecasters app. It's available by searching WDIV in your app store. In other news today, police are investigating a terrifying attack on Detroit's east side. The victim says she was walking to this Citgo gas station when a man grabbed her, forced her into an alley, and then sexually assaulted her. It happened at 7 Mile Road and Van Dyke overnight. Shanta Harris is behind the gas station all the time. It's where her bus stop is. And hearing that a 38-year-old woman was sexually assaulted this morning makes her very concerned.
It's horrible. You can't even walk to the gas station without somebody snatching you up, raping you, killing you. Oh, it's crazy.
The victim was taken to the hospital. We'll keep you posted as police continue their investigation. There's a local connection to that military plane crash in Mississippi that killed 16 service members. One of those killed was Julian Kevian, a 31-year-old Marine from Detroit. His family lives on the city's west side and were notified Tuesday morning. Today, military officials offered an update on the investigation and lamented the loss.
What happened Monday is a grim reminder of the sacrifice of the sailors, Marines, airmen that serve our great country.
The cause of the crash remains under investigation. Well, we've seen scorching temperatures this summer. Imagine being stuck in the heat and humidity without any air conditioning. One apartment complex in Wayne hasn't had relief in weeks, so they called Local 4's Help Me Hank. Hank Winchester out there right now. And Hank, these tenants are really frustrated with the management about this.
They certainly are, Karen, because as you mentioned, it's been going on, and most of the people who live here, they're elderly. Take a live look behind me. You can see the building that we're talking about. Most of the windows are open, and people living here just want to know when this problem is going to be fixed once and for all. The fans are on, the windows are open, the AC broken yet again.
I'll leave out. I don't sleep here at night. I can't be in here at night because it's so hot in here.
Inside the Newberry Square apartments in the city of Wayne, it feels like an oven. Temperatures in the mid-80s in most units, and most who live here, are elderly.
The air has not worked properly for years.
I was told that they're having to order parts. They had to go out and get quotes. They had to get quotes because the problem was that the original thing that they said was wrong was going to be very expensive.
The AC issue, it's a big problem. It's been going on for almost 2 months, and those who've had enough called me to get answered.
Hi, we're from Channel 4. We're just trying to figure out what's going on with the air conditioning situation.
I can give you my corporate phone number.
Okay. Okay. I can talk to somebody today?
I learned that the building is run by 2 different management companies, Elite and Friedman. Crews are on site doing some work, but they're still waiting for parts. Most of the building still without air. These people are in desperate need of some relief.
It's hot. It's hot. I've been miserable. I've been having headaches. We've been really suffering.
And here's information from Friedman that went out to those living here. The contractor has advised us that there are additional parts that were unforeseen, needed to complete the repairs and restore the service. We have authorized the additional work, and those required parts are on order. I can tell you today we did see crews here. We are told they are still waiting on some parts, but here's the good news. AC has been restored, we're told, to most of the 5th floor. They're starting at the top, working their way down. We're still not exactly sure when the entire building will be up and running again. Karen, back to you.
Well, how are the seniors doing there in terms of their conditions? Have they become ill? I know that one lady mentioned she's dealing with some headaches.
Yeah, Karen, I mean, the reality is they've been dealing with this for more than a month. There have been people that have gone to the hospital. Some people have moved out. They're staying with family members until this all gets resolved. We're going to stay on top of it. We'll be in touch with Friedman, also Elite, to try to get more answers to the people living here.
We know you will. All right. Thank you, Hank. On Capitol Hill today, President Trump's pick to lead the FBI faced some very tough questions. Kimberly Gill joins us from the newsroom with a few of the key moments from today's confirmation hearing. Kim.
Karen, good afternoon. Christopher Wray was pressed hard by both Democrats and Republicans for hours before the Senate Judiciary Committee, with most of the questions about the probe into alleged Russian meddling in the 2016 election.
I'm asking you, as the future FBI director, do you consider this endeavor a witch hunt?
I do not consider Director Mueller to be on a witch hunt. In my experience with Director
I'm asking you, as the future FBI director, do you consider this endeavor a witch hunt?
Well, there was also a tense exchange between Republican Senator Lindsey Graham when he questioned Wray about Donald Trump Jr.'s 2016 meeting with a Russian lawyer.
You're going to be the director of the FBI, pal. So here's what I want you to tell every politician. If you get a call from somebody suggesting that a foreign government wants to help you by disparaging your opponent, tell us all to call the FBI.
To the members of this committee, any threat or effort to interfere with our elections from any nation state or any non-state actor is the kind of thing the FBI would want to know.
All right, so I'll take it that we should call you, and that's a great answer.
Wray promised one of his first acts, if confirmed, would be to review all classified materials on the Russia investigation. His nomination requires confirmation by the full Senate, which would result in a 10-year term. And Karen, he's already gotten support from at least one Democrat, with Senator Dianne Feinstein of California saying today that she will vote to confirm his nomination. We'll keep you posted. Karen, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Kim. Now, before Wray took questions from senators, President Trump again called the Russian investigation a witch hunt. He tweeted this morning, quote, "My son Donald did a good job last night. He was open, transparent, and innocent. This is the greatest witch hunt in political history. Sad." His latest tweet comes as House Speaker Paul Ryan is urging congressional investigators and special counsel Robert Mueller to get to the truth.
It is absolutely unacceptable that Russia or any other country but Russia meddle in our elections. That's just period right there. Second, we have a special counsel that's doing an investigation over the Justice Department. We have an investigation here in the House. We have an investigation in the Senate.
According to CNN, special counsel Robert Mueller is now expected to examine the Donald Trump Jr. meeting and email exchanges as part of the Russian meddling investigation. Still ahead, mystery not solved. New questions being raised about a critical clue in the disappearance of Amelia Earhart. Also, let this video serve as a warning. Never try anything crazy because cameras are almost always watching. We'll tell you what's going on in this video. But first, taking off while intoxicated? Police say a former CEO with a famous family name is arrested for what he tried to do with his helicopter, plus what they found inside that chopper. All next. And remember, we are under a severe weather alert, tracking rain and the potential for severe weather. This is what the radar is showing right at this very moment, but the bigger concern is for the overnight hours while we are sleeping. We've got more from Ben Bailey in a few minutes, and stay with Local 4 throughout the evening. We'll be right back.
Dance Mob, coming up all new on Local 4 News at 5 and 6.
It's a down and dirty rescue. The Michigan Humane Society reaching underground to help some precious pups. The story behind the rescue and an update on the puppies. New at 6. First at 4, we're tracking stories making headlines across America. Let's start with a very unusual DUI involving a helicopter. Take a look at this chopper down in southern Illinois in a town near St. Louis. Police say former Anheuser-Busch CEO August Busch IV was arrested for trying to fly the helicopter while intoxicated. He was arrested and taken to a local hospital for blood, urine, and breath tests. In the chopper, police found prescription medications, a pepper spray gun, and 3 loaded firearms. This is video from a missile test by the U.S. Department of Defense. And this exercise shot down a target over Alaska. The military has now run 14 successful tests using THAAD, which stands for the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System. Officials say it's the frontline defense against intercontinental ballistic missiles like the one recently tested by North Korea. And we're not alone when it comes to severe weather. Look at that. Oh my goodness. The powerful tornado was caught on video. This is in central Iowa. The storm touched down just before 6 p.m. yesterday, southwest of Cedar Rapids. No one injured, but the storm damaged crops, a few buildings, and cut power to a few thousand people. Now let's go over to the northern suburbs of Chicago. That's where flash floods swept through Lake County, Illinois during a series of overnight thunderstorms. Deep water closed roads and railroad tracks. Some people were stranded in their cars and homes, and they had to be rescued. Up to 7 inches of rain have fallen in the last 24 hours. And as we know, when it hits Chicago, we are not far behind.
That's true, and that's an indication of just how much moisture is in this. You can feel it at the surface. But it's also in the mid-levels, too. So any of these thunderstorms could be packing a lot of rain.
So we definitely need to be careful and be prepared.
Prepared for tonight, too, because it looks like some of the strongest storms may happen after we go to sleep tonight. So here's the breakdown of the threats that we're looking at. The biggest one that's obviously going to be lightning with any of these severe thunderstorms, but straight line winds with any of these storms on top of saturated ground could cause even more impacts than what we would normally see if we had dry ground. Flooding is still a medium high impact because we did have some areas, especially southern Livingston County, pick up over 2 inches of rain with that morning push of thunderstorms. Hail not out of the question, and tornadoes, even though it's low, and it is low, it's still not out of the question as we get into tonight. Those chances are slight. There's still going to be a lot of the area that don't see severe weather. But nevertheless, because of the timing of it, because it's going to be so late at night, and because of the severity, that's why we have declared the severe weather alert that'll take us through tomorrow morning. Temperatures have started to creep back into the 80s here in the southwest portion of the area, and that's where those heat index readings right now starting to move back to 88 there in Adrian. And not surprisingly, this is where the clouds are starting to thin a little bit too. You can tell on the satellite how those just a little bit thinner here in the west zone and south zone than where we're seeing elsewhere. And there's also some more clearing going on in the northern part of Lake Michigan, or central Lake Michigan, just off to the west of Grand Rapids. So we will be seeing these temperatures increase a little bit, air becoming a little bit more unstable as we head into the later parts of the evening hours. But there's not a lot to look at on the radar right now. Things should become a little bit more numerous as we get into the nighttime hours. We're going to show you the computer models with this caveat. They have not had a handle on this situation since yesterday. So where some of those clouds break, I think that's what the model's picking up on, where some of these thunderstorms could start popping up as we get into the evening hours tonight. But mostly what we're concerned with is that overnight push of thunderstorms. There will be a little bit stronger winds in the mid-levels, so still a little bit of a rotation possible, and we'll be watching that pretty much from about 11 p.m. on, even stretching into tomorrow. The cold front is going to be delayed, so any storms that pop up on Thursday have the potential to become strong as well, and that lasts really through the daylight hours on Thursday, so we'll keep an eye eye on that. And that's just adding to those rainfall totals, which are going to continue to stack up as we get into Thursday. 74 tonight. The thunderstorms, again, redeveloping late outside of any that pop up here this evening, but it's really that late evening and overnight period that we're most concerned with. Scattered thunderstorms in the offing tomorrow. Temperatures very similar to what we had today, right around 83. The big difference comes on Friday. That's when the humidity drops and we head into a mostly dry weekend, although thunderstorms return on Sunday. And of course, we'll keep an eye on that severe weather situation tonight and keep you updated here, Karen.
Ben, reports of a major Amelia Earhart breakthrough may have been premature. Last week, we told you about this photo, which some experts believe shows the missing pilot and her navigator on the Marshall Islands in Japanese custody. Now, a Japanese blogger says that photo showed up in an official Japanese library in a book published in 1935. That's 2 years before she disappeared. Investigators from the History Channel are now regrouping to see what that means. Japan has always denied knowing what happened to the legendary Amelia Earhart. Still ahead, first at 4, a message of love for pop star Ariana Grande from overseas, why she's being honored, and why this award is probably very bittersweet. Trending stories ahead. Up first, take a look at this guy caught on camera. Can you tell what he's trying to do? The story behind the video and the penalty he's facing. We're back with some surprising video out of Australia. Commuter cameras have caught people trying to move furniture on public transportation. The men were actually trying to move a refrigerator and a couch at different times at a station in Brisbane. Brisbane, I should say. It's illegal to board a train with any items that large. The man moving that fridge, yeah, he got caught, and he also was fined. In today's trending stories, the singer Ariana Grande has been made an honorary citizen of the English city of Manchester. You'll remember the terror attack at her concert that killed 22 people in May. Grande returned to the city weeks later to hold a benefit concert. The city council says she brought comfort to many people by returning to Manchester, and she's the city's first honorary citizen. Also trending today, listen up, McDonald's getting ready to give away some free ice cream, but there's a little bit of a catch. The fast food chain will celebrate National Ice Cream Day this Sunday. However, you need to use the McDonald's mobile app to claim your free vanilla soft serve cone. One more thing to sweeten the deal, if you use the app to get the ice cream between 2 and 5 on Sunday, you will be eligible to win free soft serve ice cream for life. And the votes are pouring in to Local 4 for our annual Vote for the Best competition here in Metro Detroit. 85,000 since July 5th. You can choose your favorite local businesses in so many different categories like fashion, fitness, nightlife, and specialty foods. You are allowed to cast one vote for each business every hour during the voting period, so vote early, vote often for your favorites. The voting ends on August 13th. Well, it's been raining on and off all day long. This is video from St. Clair Shores. You definitely need to watch out for potential flooding tonight. There's also a severe weather threat overnight. So Ben Bailey is getting the very latest information on the forecast, and he'll join us in just a matter of minutes.
I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. Parents worry about concussions, broken bones, and sprains when their kids play sports, but something else is sending children to the emergency room.
I would have never guessed this type of injury.
What happened to her son on the baseball diamond kept him out of the game for weeks.
We were on the inside very panicked.
It could have been much worse.
Baseball, soccer, swimming, this serious injury can happen in a lot of sports. The one thing you can do to keep your kids safe in the game tonight at 11.
I was on